Hello, crafting friends. I'm Dorene Decibus from It Begins with Ink and Paper, and welcome to Funfold Friday. I'm so happy you're able to join me on this Labor Day weekend, Friday night. I hope that this is the start to a really nice weekend for everybody. I know that I am so looking forward to having the weekend and to have some time to spend with family and friends and to just have some downtime. Yep, this was the first week back to school, and I always forget that there's nothing like first week of school, teacher tired. I don't think there's anything in the world that can match that kind of tiredness. And so, yes, I am tired, but I made it through the week. I have a great group of kids this year, so I'm really looking forward to a fun year. So, our new mini catalog, let me pull it out to show you the cover. I can't show you inside it yet, but our new mini catalog goes live on September 4th. So that is coming up. And tonight I'm going to give you another sneak peek with our Funfold Friday. So I'm excited to show you something new. And this set is the Winterly Treetops. It's actually a bundle. And it has these beautiful birds. I definitely see a cardinal here. And of course, when I color my birds, I color them any color I want because that's what crafting is all about. It is a cling set, so if you are a rubber mounted stamp lover, then this is the set for you. That is one of the things I like about it, and I also love that it has coordinating dies for some of the stamps, some extra dies thrown in to add some other elements to your cards, and it has this beautiful framed image. I really love this, and I'm going to show you some ways that I've already used that. One of the things I love to do is when we have designer series paper, this I all hand cut, so everything in this envelope was hand cut from the designer series paper. I was just listening to the radio one night and I just took a portion of one sheet and cut out all of the bird images from it. I cut out some of the greenery image so I could add more to that. I know it's not easy to see these, but there's some beautiful images that you can use on the front of your cards. So don't overlook your designer series paper. I spend some time just doing some of this fussy cutting, and then I know that I'm going to have some images that I can then, that I can then easily make a card with. I have a little fan going off in the distance, so that's why that was flying around. So let me just put these back in, and let me show you some samples before I get to tonight's card. I showed these the other night on, I think, Simply Stamping Sunday, but I wanted to show them again tonight in case you didn't watch that episode. But I wanted to show you some cards that I've already made with this set. The bundle comes with this birch tree embossing folder. So I'll show you what that looks like. I love it. It's such a great embossing folder. So here I just stamped the images and I colored them in with blends. So a really just very simple card. On this one I used some shaded spruce cardstock, and I actually fussy cut these images out of the designer series paper. And in the background of this card, you can see that I added that birch tree embossing folder. Here there's nothing in the background. I just used some images from, well, I did both. I did some coloring and I used some images from the designer series paper. So the bird is from the designer series paper, and the images, the wreath behind it is a stamped image. Oops, got that a little too close. Sorry about that. And then on this one, this was a lot of fun. This one was stamped on colored cardstock, but still I used the blends to color it in. And then with this, I used the inside, the negative part of the die, and I used my blending brush and went around it a little bit heavy-handed, and then I rotated the negative image 90 degrees, and then I put a little less pressure on my blending. And so you can see I've got highlights and lowlights in the background of this card, which just came out so cool. I really like how that worked out. And here's another one where I did some stamping and some coloring with the blends to create this sending thanks card. So all fun cards with this stamp set and bundle and sweet collection, I guess we could say. We just put those out of the way so they're not here. And let me show you tonight's card. Tonight we're making a Trifold fun card, and this is what it looks like. I had a lot of fun making this, and I'm really happy with how it came out. Just come a little closer. Really showcases some of that designer series paper. Uses a great label from the greenery dies from the season, the greetings of the season stamp set and bundle, the dies, matching dies that go with it. I used a die, fussy cut image out of the designer series paper. And as if you've watched my videos before, you know that I love making belly bands. So we have a belly band on this card, and when you take it off, you get to see the fun fold. So this part opens like this, and then the rest opens like this. So you've got all of these different panels, and this is where you get your trifold, and it's even decorated underneath. So a really fun fold to make. So what do you need for supplies? I'm using Early Espresso cardstock tonight, and I have a 5.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock that I am going to score. So let's get the scoring out of the way right now. I'm going to get my scoring tool out. And let me just silence my computer. So this part opens like this, and then, okay. All right. So, I have here my scoring tool, and I'm going to put my piece of 5.5 by 11 cardstock there, and I am going to be scoring it first at 1 1/4 inch. Then I'm going to be scoring it at 5.5 inches, and then I'm going to be scoring it at 9 1/4 inch. So we get all of those great score marks. So that's the first thing we need. Remember, I am going to be putting these measurements in the comments afterwards, so you don't have to write down any of the scoring marks or any of the cardstock measurements. So I'm also going to need a piece of 1.5 by 9.5 Early Espresso cardstock. We're going to be using that for the belly band. We're going to be using a lot of designer series paper. This piece measures 1 1/4 by 9.5, and that is going to be used for the belly band. I have a piece that measures 1/2 inch by 4 inches, and another piece of base of Early Espresso that measures 5/8 of an inch by 4 inch. We're going to use this to decorate the inside of the card. And I have a piece of the and I don't know if I said what this was called, the Nessa Winter Designer Series paper, and it will be available beginning September 4th. This one measures, I have 2 of them, but I have them in different patterns. So you need 2 of these that measure 3.5 by 5 1/4. You're also going to need 2 of 2 different designs. These are the same size as well, that measure 1.5 by 5 1/4. And then you're going to need 2 of the same design that measures 1 by 5 1/4. You're going to need a piece of basic white that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. And you're going to need a scrap to die cut the tag out. And of course, you're going to need one of the bird images. I'm using one of the smaller images to fit on that tag. So this is the last supply that you're going to need. All right, for the stamping, there's very little stamping to do tonight. So I'm going to start with that on this label. I'm going to be using the Early Espresso ink. And for the stamp, I'm going to be using the greeting or the sentiment, sending thanks and much love. So I'm going to ink that up. And when I stamp this, I am going to stamp it closer to this end of the tag. And I'm doing that specifically so that I can, yeah, that looks pretty good, so that I can put on the bird on my label. And since I had the bird somewhere, I'm going to put it on right now. I'm just going to attach that. It's going to cover the hole in our label. And I'm going to set it so we can see most of the bird. It fits on the tag, but we can still see the greeting. So I'm just going to put some adhesive on this side of our bird. And we'll add it to the front of our tag. There we go. So that part is done. Then the next part I want to do before we get started on our, just see where the piece went, get started on our card, I'm going to get the inside of the card done. So I'm going to move my stamp. I'm going to grab some adhesive and put it on the back side of my piece, and I'm going to add this to the basic brown. Excuse me, I don't know why I said basic brown. We don't even have a basic brown. I am teacher tired. That's all I can say for my reason. I'm going to put that on the Early Espresso, and I'm going to add some adhesive to the back side, and then I'm going to put this along the bottom of our piece of basic white cardstock. There we go. So that is all set. All right, we'll put that to the side. We'll put that to the side, and now let's get started with putting the fun fold together. So I'm going to fold it first right in the middle. And as I've said millions of times before, anytime you're doing a fun fold, you want to have a really nice crease. This piece is going to fold in. So I'm going to crease that. And this piece is going to fold back. So when I close this, I'm going to get those 3 flaps on the front of my card. And I know that's hard to see. I'll hold it up a little bit to the side so you maybe can see the flaps coming off. But you'll see it better when I put the Designer Series paper on. So when I open it up, this part here is going to get the piece of basic white cardstock. So I'm just going to add some adhesive to this and place that right in the center between those score lines. So that looks really nice. On this side, we're going to be using this piece to go here, like this. And this is folding in, remember, so this piece is also going to get some of that designer series paper. And that's why I wanted to use this on the inside, because it matches these two sheets. And here's the other side. It's that birch tree background. This is really pretty designer series paper, and I think you are going to have a lot of fun with it. I will post a host code and a shopping link on the 4th, so if you want to place an order with me, you'll have everything that you need to do that. And here we go with that. Now, this front piece, we had two pieces that measured just an inch, and these are those two pieces. And what I have to decide is which one do I want to have on the front of my card, and which one do I want to have on the inside of my card. So I think I'm going to use this piece on the front and this piece on the inside. So let's start with the inside piece first. What's really nice is that for this card I'm using 3 different patterns of the designer series paper, so it's a card that really shows off your designer series paper, and I really like that about it. So now you can see those flaps a little better with this one just filled in. So for this, for the rest of it, this piece is going to go here, but I didn't want to leave that just plain brown. So this piece is going to go here, just like that. And these are cut right from the same piece, so that makes it nice too. So and this is, we just have this really nice pattern beige piece for the other pattern on that piece of designer series paper. So again, I'm just going to center this on between those score lines and then add the adhesive to the other piece. So this Sunday I will be back with another edition of Simply Stamping Sunday, and I'm really excited to announce I'm going to be using the let's see, I want to make sure I say the stamp set correctly. It is, nope, not this one. I thought I had it right at the top of my pile. No, of course it's not. It's underneath a bunch. But we'll be using the Regal Floral stamp set. So this is a beautiful stamp set. It is a distinctive ink stamp set. So I showed this to you a couple weeks ago, and I am looking forward to giving you a lot of ideas for how you can use this stamp set. And again, you'll be able to order that and the beautiful designer series paper that goes with it on September 4th. All right, so now, the only part of the card that doesn't have designer series paper is the very back panel, though if you wanted to add the designer series paper, you certainly can. So here is our fun fold. Again, the Trifold, so we have a fold that opens this way, this one opens out, and then the card opens up. So a really nice fun fold. So now what we need to do is make the belly band. So this is the 3rd designer series paper, the 3rd design that we're using. It's birch trees that have a lot of birds flying around or on a branch, and the back side are these flowers with some birds as well. So I'm going to add my adhesive, and the first 2 things I'm actually going to do is I'm going to just give this a little, I'm going to break some of the fibers in this piece of cardstock and just give it a little bit of some movement, so it's going to come around the card nice. I'm going to do the same thing with the designer series paper, and then I'll do it again when I attach them, but this is just a nice way to make sure you're not going to have a difficult time putting it around the card and have it bend and crack in other different ways. So I'm going to take this and place it on the Early Espresso cardstock. There we go. And then just give it another little bend. When you put a belly band on, you want to put, I want to make sure it's going the right way, first of all, the direction. And you want to put your seam in the front. So that is important because our label is going to cover that up. You also want to make sure it has a little bit of give. You don't want it on here so tight that you're unable to move it up and down the card like that. So those are just a couple of hints when you're going to use a belly band. All right, so I'm going to put that end down, bring this over, and have it attach. I want to make sure it's even, attached to the front of the card. So I might even be able to make that just a tad closer together. That was a little loose. Yeah, I think that's a little better. So my belly band slides on and off pretty easily there. So now the next part that I want to do is I want to attach this to the center of the belly band, and the label is going to cover up that seam, so we don't have to worry about that. And then I'm going to add some bling. So we'll start with this, and then what I'm going to do is take some dimensionals, and I'm actually going to place the dimensionals on the belly band. That way I know that they're going to fit on the label and not hang off the belly band and cause, and I can put a nice group of dimensionals on. So right now I've got 6 on. That should hold my label nicely and centered. I could actually go out one more set on each side, so I think I will do that just to really hold it in place nicely. It's a lot of dimensionals, but you're going to be pulling this belly band off a lot, so it will make a difference in how well this stays on. So now I just need to peel these off, put our label on, and then we can add a little bling to the front of the card. Okay, get those out of the way. And there we go with that part of the card. And now for the bling, I'm going to use the adhesive back swirl dots. And this is what they look like. Maybe I'll bring it down a little bit more so you can see them. They have a little swirl on them. The brown ones are more difficult to see the swirl, but I'm going to just add those to the front. And I think I'm going to put one here on the front of the card. So there we go. This is this week's Funfold card. So we have here our Trifold nestled, I've already forgot. Nestled, I'm sorry. Trifold Nest of Winter Sweet Funfold card. And so again, we can take the belly band off and open the card up that way, or this way, to delight our recipient. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you have a great long weekend. Enjoy the sunshine that's at least supposed to be in the Northeast this weekend, and I Hope you have a great week next week as well. I will be back next Friday night with another Fun Fold card, and of course I'll be here Sunday night at 7 o'clock for the new edition of Simply Stamping Sunday. Have a great weekend, everyone. Good night. Bye-bye.